Okay, cool. We should be good. Finally.
Right?
This is like so much work for like one online class.
Dude, this is like interesting.
Last week I was like bad mouthing this class and I was like, I hope Shannon doesn't watch this. And then in the feedback, she was like, Allison, I watch every video. And I was like, okay, sorry.
Oh my
So,
gosh,
hi,
wow.
Shannon. I wonder where Tegan is. That other girl went missing too.
Oh geez. Like this is interesting for online classes, you know. It's more of a pain
Yeah, it's hard to like figure it out.
on the same page. Yeah, exactly. But I guess once you do, it's effective.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's a good way to like get everybody to be able to like talk about stuff still. All right, there's Tegan. I don't know where Jade is.
Jeez Louise.
I feel bad. She's like
I
trying to
know,
be.
right?
Oh my gosh, this is complicated. What if we like FaceTime her and hold her up?
Yeah, maybe. I feel bad for her.
I know, it was just like not working on the computer, it seemed like.
Yeah, she like couldn't get the audio. I don't know. I'm like the worst person to ask about anything like this.
Yeah. Is she responding? Is she responding
No,
to
she
anything?
hasn't like texted.
Oh, it looks like she's messaging down below.
Oh, is she?
It looks like it.
There's so many tabs.
I know, I'm thoroughly overwhelmed.
I
A lot of things.
have no
It
idea.
it says like she's like typing something. I'm downloading the app quickly on my phone.
Oh my god. Okay.
Gosh.
That sucks.
It's so challenging. I don't know.
I put my notes on the Google Docs already.
Oh yeah, I did too.
Let me pull it off of here. Did she I thought I saw a template of an example of what our notes would look like, and then I like couldn't find it again. So is that just me like imagining something?
No, I think it's in like that folder. If you like go to the folder, like not in like the module three notes, but just in like group 9, I think one of those templates like has stuff filled into it, but I don't know which one. Oh wait, just kidding, they don't. I don't know.
Because I could have sworn I saw something earlier today, but then I like went to look again, and I was like,
Yeah, I definitely saw it. I have no idea.
So do we need to put like answers underneath, like where it has like considerations?
Yeah, so like whoever is like the note taker just has to, where it says like summary of meeting, you just fill that in.
Okay, so we don't need to write anything under like considerations. We just need to literally summarize what we talked about.
Yeah, all you have to do is a summary and then like copy and paste the link to the YouTube video, which I can do because I'm the one that has the...
Oh, hey, sorry, that took forever. I can
Oh,
see all you
yeah,
guys
it's
now.
working. Cool.
I can take notes. If you are you just gonna do you want to just copy and send me the link of the
Yeah, I'll just paste it into the Google Doc,
Sorry.
like the one I just, you know, the note, you know?
Yeah, because you're on this one. I can see your little icon.
Okay, yeah, so that's where I'll copy and paste it at the bottom.
Cool. So I'll just take notes while we're doing it or whatever.
Okay,
I mean, everybody just has to go and add like their own at the bottom.
Yeah. The one that says Module 3, Group 9. That's one that you're on, right, Allison?
Yeah,
Cool.
like in that folder she shared with us.
Okay, I'm seeing the module 2, but not.
Google Drive and go to like shared with me, it should pop up. to find the folder that we're talking about.
I'm like sitting on the floor.
It took me forever to find the notes thing, honestly.
It was like, it's a scavenger hunt every week.
Yes.
Of
I'm like,
course.
what am I doing? Like, where am I going to find everything?
Group 9.
You see it?
Okay, right on.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's see if I can find it quickly. Oh, I need to sign in. Hold on. I need to sign. Oh. No. Did you delete everything?
Yeah.
Okay. Technology. I hate technology.
Isn't it ironic that it's like an assistive technology class and technology just sucks?
Right.
I know, I was like telling my sister, I was like, man, like I'm taking this class and there's like all this like computer stuff we have to figure out. And she was like, well, isn't it a technology class? Like, isn't that the point? And I was like, maybe, but it's hard.
You're like, yeah, but I'm bad at it.
Right? Like, that's
Hi,
probably
ladies.
the point.
Oh.
Does it make it easier?
Say nothing.
They can hear you. If they can hear me, they can hear you. Sorry, that's why my roommate said hi to you.
Bye.
So,
See, they all said hi to you.
What class is this for?
This is for special
I've
education.
Seen, wait, go back. I've seen that group before.
Okay, you mean
Anyway, you guys have fun.
yeah, no, you're friends
Tegan?
with
I
my
think it's Tegan.
roommate.
What?
Yeah, you're friends with my roommate, Casey.
Do you know Casey?
Yes.
There you
That's
go,
right, familiar.
Casey.
I knew it. What are the odds?
That's crazy.
I saw you in the gym yesterday.
Yeah,
Well, there you go.
boom.
Yeah, well, he's my roommate.
That's funny.
Yeah, because his brother is my boyfriend, so he's in my apartment. Sorry, so you do it in the module and then
Off the head, off the head.
Tristan.
Yeah, it's in that group folder.
Yeah, so if you go on your Google Drive and then you click shared with me in the left-hand column,
Okay.
it says like group 9 folder, I think.
Group, okay, so Google, okay. So do we just add notes to where our name is at? Or do we add notes?
Yeah, so there's like a module
to that.
No.
Okay.
And then it
And
should
I'll take like the notes of our like the summary of our meeting.
So it says module 3, group 9.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Okay.
And then whatever like group number person you are, I don't remember who's what. You can just like put your notes that you like talk about in this meeting in there.
Okay. Guys, I can't hear.
Go in the room.
But my okay, well, fine. You know what? Fine. You all have a hard time here. Sorry, guys. No, I'm going to go in the room, hon. Just hold on. Well, I'm in the room. Okay. Oh. So, quick side note. So, Rita, did you graduate from Boise High?
Yep. Yeah.
No? Yeah? Okay, I think you're a grade younger than me because I graduated in 2012.
Oh, okay, you did?
Yeah, and I think, do you know Max Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known him since I was adopted, so.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just a side note, sorry, because I know I'm like, Rita.
Yeah, cool.
act
No,
like
thanks for
South
saying something.
Carolina.
That's awesome.
Sorry, girl.
All right, team.
Okay, let's do
Let's do this thing.
Who wants to talk about their strategy first?
I can.
Okay.
So I had the understanding problems. And so basically like the breakdown of the strategy is like to understand the problem, the students need to understand the context, and then develop a plan to solve the problem, which if we're talking about UDL, it's checkpoint 6.2, which says support planning and strategy development. The teacher just needs to make sure that they like explain everything, and like the expectations, and a big part of it was that they need to explain what kind of math is being used, because the point of the strategy isn't to like be able to know like what computation you're doing, it's to be able to understand the word problem. So that's UDL checkpoint 3.2. And then the teacher should help show the students how to break up the problem to better understand it. And then, ask questions like, does this make sense? Why does this make sense to you? So then for the lesson plan, the objective was that students show their understanding of problem-solving strategies by creating their own word problems. And so the teacher basically went over the goals first and kind of just jumped right into the we do stage and skipped kind of the I do. He explained what they were going to be doing to them, but that was about it. And then for the we do, they did 2 word problems together. And then he asked the students questions to have them do the stages of problem solving together. So he would do it on the board and be like, okay, help me kind of thing. And then when they solved it, he reiterated that there's multiple ways that you can solve a problem. And then for the you do section, he re-explained the directions and then put them into pairs. And I thought it was cool because it mentioned that he intentionally matched people whose strengths and weaknesses would match well. So I thought that was cool and really intentional of him to do, differentiating. And then while they work, he walked around and listened to their conversations, asked guiding questions, redirecting questions as they needed them. And then at the end, he brought the class back together and had a pair share out their problems and their processes and how they came to their problems and share the methods and models that they used. And then he did that with multiplication, and then he had them do that with division. And then I always think it's cool how in all of these lesson plans, they use Google Docs or whatever. They always have them share on a platform where everyone can go and view it. And so he did that, which I thought was cool. And then they used a technology thing called thinking blocks, which helps to demonstrate multiplication and division models. And then they use their presentation software, and then their classroom platform, which is probably Google Docs.
That's cool. Mine had UDL checkpoint 3.2 as well. I did thinking aloud, and so it's basically while you're training it in the I do stage, when the you do stage. I forget which one starts. That when the teacher's teaching, they explain their thought process. So it's when you're doing a multiplication problem, you talk about with a word problem, especially why did I choose to use this operation? Why do I use this the numbers that I pulled from the problem, where did they come from, and how did I know what order to put them in and what operation to use? And then they talk about using guiding questions to explain to the students that what they're thinking and their reasoning is just as important as getting an answer. So to explain to the kids hey, look, this answer might not be correct, but look at this reasoning, what steps did they take that were correct, and what could we do differently that would get the correct answer, and what different path could we take if someone did get the right answer, what could we do differently and still get the same answer. And then again, it's a lot of doing guiding questions and asking them to explain okay, could you try it in a different way, or providing them with sentence frames is something that I hadn't seen before in math. And so that the worksheet basically forces them to explain their thinking if you give a sentence frame on the worksheet. And so if you write by each step of a problem, the sentence frame, I know that ... and then they have to fill it in. Or I want to try because of, and then a blank so they can fill that in. And then one thing it said to look out for when you're doing formative assessment is a student that will say okay, so I do this next, and they know the steps, but they aren't super sure of why they're doing the step. They can say oh, I know that I multiply 3 times 6, but they have no concept of why they're doing what they're doing, because if they really grasp something, they should be able to explain it and really understand it. And you need to step in and explain it more if they're not getting it. And then the UDL checkpoints were 9.3, which is self-assessment and reflection, which is really super important in being able to talk about your own train of thought and being able to say, okay, this is where I went wrong and this is what I could do better. And these are different options I could have taken even though I didn't. And then like supporting planning and strategy development, which is UDL checkpoint 6.2, which again, like they just have to like be really thoughtful if they have to explain their reasoning and not just write a correct answer down. And then during the teaching phase of it, UDL checkpoint 3.2 comes in because it's like highlighting patterns and critical features and big ideas. So you're able to show the students like on the board, like these are like the reasons why the algorithms that we're using in math work, and like this is how I know what to use, and showing like different patterns and word problems that like lead you to know which operation to use. And they used for technology, they use like the flashcards and sentence starters, which like can be high tech if you use them. Like I know there are like apps and stuff that have sentence starters or like worksheet builders, or you could like just use them like old school. And then like different manipulatives for like working out word problems with like, you know, like the base 10 blocks or different like things to like lay out and like do multiplication with. And then calculators, like depending on the objective of the lesson, because obviously like if the objective is arithmetic, you don't really want them using calculators. But if you just want them to be like getting a concept, or like if it's in science and they're using math like to find something out in science, then a calculator wouldn't like harm the lesson outcome. And that's all I got.
Cool.
I didn't get you guys' email until like now about who's doing what, and so I accidentally did understanding problems, which I think, Tegan, did you do that?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
did.
So if you don't mind, sorry, I'm doing something else, and so I'm reading it a little bit. It's about visual representation. So Rita, if you want to join in at all with what you were gonna do, because I just need to read a little bit about it. But...
I'm checking my email.
Oh, okay. Well, no, because I thought, yeah, I didn't check the email till now, so I did understanding problems, but visual representation. All I know is that reading about all of this math stuff. So I did a tutor when I was in, let's see, like in junior high. I had a tutor, math tutor, and we did a lot of hands-on, not more technology, because back then, you know, technology was slowly getting into. But I mean, a lot of the stuff that we talked about, I mean, she did visualizing like a graph. Like I have to talk to her about, hey, like, what do you mean by this? Or repeat the problem, you know, what does it mean to you? So it's kind of like what they're doing right now with the kids, but with technology instead.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, because I remember I had to like figure out the story problem in my own terms, and then she'll help me, guide me if I put it like, if I, you know, lean too away from the story problem and don't understand it. And so I did that, and that helped me learn math a lot. It's nice to read that they're doing this with kids that do struggle with math a little bit, because I totally understand a little bit. So, but I don't understand the technology, as you can tell. So I don't know how well I will do that if I get struggle now. But let me read a little bit. You guys can keep talking. I'm going to do visual representation. If that's okay, Rita, or do you want to do that one?
Yeah, that sounds good. Would I be like interacting with you?
Let me just read it.
I like that though, what you're talking about like personalizing math, just because I like feel like in all of like the lesson stuff that we've read for this module, like a lot of it is like, and even for like my other classes, like the LLC 340, like everything is about like how can you personalize the concepts that you're trying to get like your students to understand, and so when you make it personal to them. And I think that like that we watched about like them measuring like the sugar, I think that did like that exact thing, that it took like, okay, they need to understand this like scientific and mathematical concept, but how can I bring something in that's relevant to them and use it in order to like accomplish like this task, which like not only are you helping them learn more about the real world, which teachers should always be doing, but like you're also you're having them use something that's going to be interesting to them. Because if you use something that, I mean, let's measure these grains of sand, like the students aren't going to interested in that as they are in how much sugar you're drinking when you drink your Pepsi. Like,
Right.
they're going to be so much more interested in that. And they're probably going to understand the concept and remember the concept, because it's like, oh, remember when we found out that there was 25 grams of sugar and that was this much?
Right. Yeah, definitely. I know I'm taking 440 this semester, and on the first day we all had to write like our favorite classes growing up and our least favorite, and like everyone's least favorite was math, and everyone was like, I didn't feel connected to it, like it didn't really matter to me. And so it's cool to see ways of like making it matter to kids and like making it personalized, because that's definitely something that I didn't have a whole lot of in school.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love that idea of like pretending it's the object in like a word problem or something like that. We're talking about taking discs and pretending they're the 10 cars,
Yeah.
like a visual representation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, so I work at daycare. I've been working at daycare for about 2 years now. So I was in Twin Falls, but then I moved here to Boise, where I originated from. But the daycare that I'm working now, I work with the kids doing kind of like visualizing math because they're so young. And I did a little, what do you call it? Kind of like, what's the class called? I can't remember, like foundation of early childhood or something like that. And how like children's brain, you have to be at their level. So math, of course, is super high level, and so it's kind of hard to explain to 3, 4, 5-year-olds how to do math. So for me, that I learned, which I learned back in Twin Falls, is that we do visualization. Like I use my fingers, and they use their fingers. I use cars or their favorite, shapes if they have a favorite color, and do it with crayons. Like I have 3 crayons, and then I said, what happened if a crayon one, or like I do a story with it. Like what happened if like a crayon breaks or something? How many, pieces do I have? And then the kids are like 2. I'm like, yes. How many colored crayons do I have? And they're like 2 purple. I'm like, yes. So it's kind of like fun to see how this totally represents. It's so fun to see because then I'm like, I can use technology a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think some of the best math teachers that I had, like I was taking an AP Calculus senior year, and I was talking about like taking derivatives of like shapes and stuff like that. And it was like he knew we were struggling with like trying to visualize like what was happening when we were taking like the derivative of like a cylinder. And so he literally went home and made these wooden things that he could like take apart to show us what we were doing and finding all the different like layers of it. And I remember like that literally changed the way that I thought about math and like how much like I actually enjoyed doing calculus simply because I could see what I was doing. And like people always say like, oh, like high maths like that, like there's no way you're going to use it. Like there's no way that your teacher can make it relevant. You just have to know the facts. But like the fact that he went home and created something and I could understand the process and what I was doing so much more because I was able to visualize it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a good
Intangible makes it more understand it better because it's something they can hold. It's like real life instead of just like a magical number.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Especially when you have like a wide range of students, like especially if you have like students with like disabilities or just like students that where it clicks and some where it doesn't, like being able to have multiple ways to explain something. Like some kids are going to get it when you write it on the board once and you give them an equation, but there's the students that are not going to understand it until they can see it.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
Yeah. I'm writing all of this as we go. Yeah, I liked that. I really liked that video. I never thought of like the I do, we do, you do like model. Like I never like heard of that before until this course.
Yeah, me too. It's weird that it's like I haven't heard like those words for it, but I feel like I've like seen that practice, you know?
Yeah, like we didn't know about it, but then we're like, oh, now we can connect into more concept, understanding.
Especially thinking on like my math classes, like, my teacher would always like write it on the board first, like kind of do a problem, and then explain what we were doing, give us the equation, and then be like, okay, now we're going to do it again. You guys do it with me. Okay, now I'm going to give you a problem. Now you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just good teaching, honestly. They probably aren't even thinking, oh, I'm going to do it in this model. They're just thinking, how am I going to help my kids understand the concepts?
Right.
Yeah, like good practice is good practice no matter what you call it.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what other considerations. What types of instructional practice were used in the math lesson plans?
I like the idea of the interacting with like group discussions and feedback and stuff like that within each other.
Yeah.
Like how it talked about like waiting for the class to respond and almost like correct each other out the problem before you give out the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like let them as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, and like let them like struggle with it and kind of like test their brains before you just like feed them the right answer.
Work together.
Yeah.
Different tidbits to figure out the.
Oh, I'm lagging super bad. You guys are all frozen.
Yeah, I know. Rita keeps freezing, and I'm like, when she talks, it goes in and out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's definitely not been clear.
That reminded me though of what we were talking about in the LLC report lesson. Oh, you weren't there. It was Monday. It was yesterday. You weren't there. But she was talking about like things that help engage students. And one of them was like learning with others, and that almost learning with like having students learn with their other peers can almost be more helpful than having them just learn with the teacher, because they can explain something. Sometimes a 12-year-old can explain a concept better to another 12-year-old than I can explain it to them.
Yeah, like they know their own minds better.
Speak each other's language.
Yeah.
Well, the kids at my daycare, even they're like 5-year-old, they sometimes like, Miss Jade, just hold on, I can do this. I'm like, okay. I like back off, and then they do their own cute little language to themselves, and supposedly sometimes it works. I'm like, wow, that's very simple English. What? I thought I was doing that. But they do very well with each other. Kids are impressive how they can work together, no matter what age, to be honest. I mean, I know we're talking about what you said, Tegan, 12-year-olds. But definitely 5-year-olds for sure, and even 3-year-olds. Because today it was a struggle to do. They do worksheets, I guess, really simple, like ABC worksheet. We're on Q now, and so one of the kids got very frustrated, and I was like, very simple. I'm like, all you have to do is trace the 3 Qs, and you can be done. And he just got super upset, and this little kid come up, look at my worksheet. Look, I'll help you. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And the kid trying to calm down. It was nice. So
yeah, kids are
support.
so good.
I like it. But
I love that.
yeah.
There were times
Kids are fun.
I was at an elementary school for field work on yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, something. And there were some times where the kindergartners were like trying to write sentences and stuff like that, and one of them was like really struggling, and I was like, okay, like let me help you. And one of like the other kindergartners was like, no, I'll help her.
Oh.
Nappy, you don't have to be so rude.
Yeah, really. But I was like, cool that like this student is like understanding that like one of their peers isn't understanding something, and like is gonna go out of their way to explain it to the kid instead of being like, I'll have the teacher help you. He's like, no, like let me do it because I understand it.
Yeah, that is really cool actually, to have them like, and obviously like the teacher's been like teaching well to like make them that independent on their own. And,
yeah,
like,
and it's a whole like culture.
Take that initiative. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, do you guys remember when you were younger? Was it like that, you think? Like with like kids help? Did kids help you at all or struggle? I can't remember when I was little. If anybody like, not a teacher, but another classmate came and helped me. I don't think I
feel like we were really competitive. Like I don't remember wanting other people, like especially like in middle school and high school, like we were super like cutthroat competitive. Like I don't know if that's how it is everywhere, but like we were tough on each other, and we were always like, how'd you do on the test? Like, I did better than you or whatever. Like, we didn't really work together at all.
Yeah.
I just didn't say my test scores. I knew that because everybody's like, "Oh, I got like A+," and I'm just like, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing." So, but yeah, it is. It seemed like more competitive in our era, I guess, and I'm glad that education is kind of switching to like now, like we're talking about how kids actually helping each other instead of like, "Oh, you're smarter than that person." That's I shouldn't even help that person, or kind of that attitude, I guess, or something like that.
I think that's a
Like
lot
comparing each other.
the culture that the teacher creates in the classroom. Like a teacher can either create
That's
a
true,
culture of
teachers,
like
yeah.
we're gonna compete against each other, or they can create a culture of like we're a community and like the lowest, like we're all as low as the lowest in the class, so we may as well work together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that
very
is
true.
part of it.
Yeah, a big part of our job is being that facilitator and like setting that tone in the classroom of like a team. I love that when they have like a theme in a classroom or something like that. You get a team vibe together. Yeah, that competition pressure is at least lightened or like attempted to be.
If you don't mind, Tegan, sorry, this might be off topic a little bit. So, are you graduating with the elementary or?
No, I'm just special ed, so it's just a K-12 special ed degree.
Okay, because I'm doing early childhood special education, but I don't have a specific K to 12. Because when I looked it up, my bachelor's only go to third grade. To
Yeah,
daycare.
so mine, the degree that I have, this is the first year that they're doing it. I transferred here, and so I heard about it from Michael Humphreys before I had transferred before this year. And so this is technically the first year that they have the program, and so I think I'm the only person with this degree.
Wow.
Or that's what I've heard so far. So, but it's instead of it being a dual cert, it's a single cert, and then it's K-12.
Okay, because I was just wondering, because when you said field work, that will be my next step, because I'm in only 200 classes, because I only have 2 years left till I graduate.
Yeah.
So it's fun that you are in the field doing definitely with older kids, because I want to see what older kids are like. I'm nervous because I'm small, so I'm like, I don't want to work with older kids because they're so bratty.
No, they're fun. I was at a middle school last semester, and they're fun.
Yeah.
I love them. They work differently. They definitely do.
Yeah, I'm more independent, so you don't have to always be nagging or like, ah.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, so are you in an elementary school right now?
Yeah.
Doing the field work?
Yeah, I'm in a kindergarten classroom.
Okay. Okay. Because I'm thinking of, sorry, I'm off topic, because I'm thinking of changing my job to the school district, because that's pretty much when we graduate, that's what I want to work as in the school district. So
yeah,
just get my hands, my feet in the water, whatever you call it.
Oh yeah, of course. Let's see what other.
But anyways,
talk about. What types of education?
What other questions are there?
Lesson plans.
Education technology.
Technology. I feel like there's a lot of online platform, interactive tools. Give them tools to where they can do it either on paper or online.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And having knowing which kid, that was one thing in my lesson. It was okay, I know that some kids get distracted when I pull these manipulatives out for them to have on their desk. So I'm gonna have those students work on the computer manipulative that's more direct and not calling attention to it and be okay, you get distracted, go sit over there, but just knowing and not making a big deal of it. And then if you are gonna have the manipulatives out, and you want the ones that are sometimes distracted with them, to work well with them, maybe pair them with a student that works really well with them, and just really knowing your kids and knowing what they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, let me.
I'm just taking notes as we go. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, I can see you typing.
Yeah, something with that. And then UDL principles. I know that Allison, you and I talked about it, checkpoint 3.2, which is the highlighting patterns and stuff like that. And I know that in mine, 6.2 came up a lot, which is like supporting planning and strategy development. Because mine was like understanding problems. So, the teacher being like, hey, let's develop a plan. Let's develop something. Like, let's not just like shot in the dark, which I think is a new kind of concept. Like, I don't know how new like the UDL stuff is, but like I know that in like middle school and stuff, like for a lot of like word problems, it was like, okay, trial and error. Like just figure it out, instead of like the teacher like sitting down and like teaching us how to develop a strategy. Like, how do you read a word problem? How do you pick out what you need to know and what you need to do with it? Like, I think that like being taught that is not only incredible for like math, but it's also something that's cross-curricular. Like, how do I take this excerpt that I don't understand, and how do I break it apart and read something and understand it so that I can better comprehend what's going on in this?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's really cool. Cool. Do we feel like there's anything else we need to talk about?
I think we're pretty set. Yeah.
Cool. Do you guys just want to put your the notes that you guys took on your strategy? Do you guys just want to put that on the Google Doc?
Yeah, I'll do that. That's what I was going to do after this.
Cool. And then just when I see that that all four of us have our stuff in, then I'll just send it to her. So I make sure that she has editing privileges, right?
Yeah, which she should, because it's in that folder, but just like double check.
Okay.
And
so
then,
do I need to just submit it under the assignment? I don't need to do anything else because it's already, or do I need to share this with her as well?
It should already be shared. So all we have to do is like once it's done, like once everybody has their stuff in it, we can just go and like get the copyable link. Like when you go up to share it, there's a thing that says like get a link that you can copy. Yeah. And so you just do that, and then you can submit that link in the assignment on Blackboard.
Cool. Awesome. Cool.
All right. Have a good week, guys. I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Oh, finally we all got together, right?
Yeah, it worked out.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.